Hi, Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights. This weather video driven by 802cars.com. They represent 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, 802 Honda, located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. Well, this is a little geeky. We're going to get into the microburst that worked across Washington County on Saturday afternoon, the 8th of July. And this is a picture of it here. Just entering the picture right now, very dark conditions with the cumulonimbus cloud overhanging, blowing out ahead, and creating very dark conditions with a lot of moisture aloft. We're going to geek out a little bit, so this is kind of very cool stuff. So what is a microburst? This is what we see typically in Vermont. Rarely do we get tornadic thunderstorms with a pure vortex. They do happen, and they're probably happening more frequently with the evidence of climate change starting to change the climate to one that would feature more frequent mesolows that work in across these thunderstorms. But this is your classic just microburst wind. And so we have the updraft here. This schematic here kind of shows the overshooting top, and then what goes up must come down. So typically a lot of updrafts form. They're pulsy in nature, and then what goes up must come down, and we get a what we call a wet microburst. And this produces about 99.9% of our wind damage in the Green Mountain State. Notice as it comes down, though, it does actually anticyclonically kind of turn and twist. So there is actually a little bit of rotation. Fans out. This is known as the gust front, and this is what we're going to be looking at here. And there's your winds, and there's the rain shaft moving through. Things stabilize. We get into much more quieter conditions as the cell moves on by and so forth. I'm going to take a radar look, but this is just, of course, the post part of the storm. A few other storms producing a little bit of rain shower activity off to the south of us here. And, of course, the typical dance of the stratocumulus, stratofractus, low-level fog that kind of forms, and you can see the wind flow blowing over the tops of these. All cool. Okay, this is looking at a radar shot from the radar tapes from yesterday, and what we can see here is the approach of a strong thunderstorm cell. We're looking at, we're going to concentrate on winds right now, and we'll go to other views of this. But what we see here is some very strong winds. Now, this is starting to move away from the radar. This is radial velocities outbound. So our strongest winds are kind of this lighter color here. Darker color, least amount of wind velocity is kind of the darker red. So keeping that in mind. The green, by the way, is inbound. Just ignore that. About right here, we got hail that's better than 1/2 inch. And this is already getting into severe territory now. We got very strong winds that are actually microbursting out ahead along this group of cells. So it's moving in on Waterbury. We got a report and confirmation of a 1/2 inch hail. That was at Bolton. And this is about 10 minutes, 11 minutes after 2 o'clock. Right there, hail over Waterbury. It's driving these winds down, and they're microbursting. And here we go. We first report of a tree down. That's in Waterbury. Now these wind gusts are working, and this is my location in Wuthering Heights, and I'm looking at this view basically in this general area here. So we're seeing these wind gusts come in with that rain shaft. So that wind gust now has reached these outbound radial velocities, starting to show the strong winds, and we have trees reported down. This is in the city of Montpelier, and that was roughly about 29 minutes after 2 o'clock. Barre, you can see the leading edge, and Barre got significant damage. 3 buildings, 1 roof was blown off, I believe, and numerous trees, of course, downed due to these very strong winds. You can see where the winds are a little bit stronger in some places than others. Now, the cell held together and crossed all of Washington County, also kind of fluctuated back and forth with fairly large hail. This is nearly 1 inch hail here, 0.85. We lost the next sweep on the radar, a little bit of lessening. And then you can see the leading edge of the wind in Barnet here. And Barnet reported West Barnet, a tree down or trees down at that point in time. And this continued to track into New Hampshire. So it was a well-defined, strong, severe thunderstorm that took a track. These are about 15-minute increments. This is kind of the direction they're moving. Okay, so this is looking at what people are more accustomed seeing on radar. We have, first of all, one cell that developed with a good inflow and a lot of sunshine that moved over here. And the rest of those cells caught up to it, so we have merging echoes, and that really gave birth to this stronger cell moving right down the I-89 corridor. This is a little bit west of Waterbury. So in the Bolton area, this continued to track, and we had the wind report out of already moving through parts of Waterbury, Worcester, and just getting into the Barre Montpelier area, Montpelier City itself. And you can see it went all the way to West Barnet and so forth. Okay, a little bit bigger view. I have this set up for a large hail. That would be in the red here. And you can kind of get an idea how this whole line kind of worked in through the Barre Montpelier area. This might have been at its maximum here. And you can see this is a pretty good tall group and some very heavy hail right here at this location. Let's take a look at that. Notice it's a little bit offset, the hail suspended. Alright, the other thing I want to show you is I'm going to set it up here so you can see a little bit better action of the actual group of thunderstorms, or the thunderstorm line that moved in. And again, the darkest red is the hail. There's one good, very good top on this right there. You can see a real strong updraft for. And that was when it was over, it looks like, still west of the Green Mountains, getting ready, looks like over Bolton, or getting ready to move through Bolton. There we go. The interesting thing to note is that the makings of the storms happen actually in the Champlain Valley. They cross over the mountains, they get they pick up, and then the cells basically collapse, and when they collapse, that's when we get our strongest winds. There's a collapse. There's the winds moving through the Barre Montpelier area. The updraft portion intact, headed toward Barnet, where it's going to do it again. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.